of the Big Ten Conference.
Senior day in College Park. Jalen Husky, known as Mr. Terrapin, and Shalik Knotts, last time that they will be playing on this field. Maryland fans coming out in droves, but there's a ton of maize and blue at the Shell as well today. Michigan and Maryland from College Park. Number 18, the Michigan Wolverines, only one loss in conference play. Maryland trying to snap a 6-game losing streak and keep their bowl hopes alive by winning out the last 2 weeks. Here's your playoff picture for what could possibly be the final two teams in Indianapolis. Of course, Ohio State winners already today. Indiana off. Oregon and USC playing right now. Michigan with just one loss. They've got everything sitting right there in front of them. A great flyover by the Blackhawks. As we come inside CQ Stadium. Great day for football with Jake Butt and Brooke Fletcher down in the field. Jeff Levering with you. Thanks so much for being with us today. And Jake, a wild win last week for Michigan. 5 turnovers. Nobody wins those games. Michigan found a way to do it. But here you are, 2 weeks to go, and they have everything lined up right in front of them.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, Jeff, what matters most is winning. And I think two things are true. This team is winning. They are 8-2. They do have a great opportunity ahead of them. But on the flip side, they're young, and they've shown their youth nearly to their own demise at time. And that's true of this Michigan football team as a whole. It's true their young quarterback Bryce Underwood as an individual. And Northwestern is really the perfect example of this. I thought it was his best game of the season, but he made a handful of critical young mistakes that nearly cost them the game. And the truth is, with Bryce, he was brought into Michigan for one reason above all. That is to win championships. Here they are, 8-2 with everything ahead of them into late November. Whether or not this team wins those championships will fall on the shoulders of their young quarterback.
All right, let's go downstairs to Brooke Fletcher. There's some late breaking news in terms of the Michigan roster.
Well, Jeff, we understand how important depth is at this time of the season, and for Michigan, that's going to be tested here today. Wide receiver Samaj Morgan and linebacker Ernest Hausman, they did not travel with the team. Now, I'm told it's not for disciplinary reasons, but they are just not going to be available. But listen, this linebacker room, they've been hit hard this season, but when one guy goes down, another man steps up. Cole Sullivan, he's going to be back. He's a full go. We haven't seen him since Michigan State game. Also, Jimmy Rolder, he's going to up his usage, which will be huge for this defense. Now, I know everybody's wondering what's going on with running back and Jordan Marshall after getting banged up last week versus Northwestern. I'm told the x-rays, they were negative. They just wanted to see how he was feeling during warm-ups. I kept an eye on him. He seemed like he was in good spirits. He dressed out, and I'm told he will be available. But Sharon Moore told me he's also confident in guys like Bryson Cusdahl to step up if needed, guys.
All right, thanks so much, Brooke. There is a ton of maize and blue on the far side of the field. They're expecting another sellout here in College Park. Michigan won the toss, deferred to the second half. Maryland will get the football first. Beckham Sunderland ready to send it away for the Wolverines. And off we go from the Shell. Fair catch called for. And Malik Washington, one of the most talented freshmen that this program in Maryland has ever seen, will take the field for the first time against Michigan. He's having an outstanding season, Jake. Throws the ball exceptionally well. He's got to get some help from the run game. Might be tough to do that today.
Yeah, listen, we are in for a treat. These are two true freshman quarterbacks starting for each team, and Malik Washington for the Terps is as special as you will find in all of college football. All the talent in the world. Important to note, he was injured during fall camp. He didn't get that month of August to develop. So now here late in the season, he's comfortable in the system with the offense, starting to hit his stride. Will need to hit his stride against the Michigan defense.
Handed off on first down to Juan Williams in the open. He's near midfield. So much for not running the football. Big chunk on the first play of the ball game here. The offensive starters great in the wide receiver department with Knotts and Smith. Sometimes you just need to make a play, but this offensive line has been outstanding for Malik Washington.
That's the big difference, is they've started the same 5 guys all season long. That's provided stability in terms of pass protection. Washington hasn't been sacked all too much.
Throws it, had a man, and it's down low and incomplete. He was looking for his tight end, Dorian Fleming. Had him wide open in that zone. Here's that defensive front And the linebackers with no Houseman, you get Rolder back, you get Sullivan back. That is huge for defense for Michigan.
Jeff, the good thing for Michigan is that linebacker room is the deepest position group on this entire team. I remember being there for the camp tour, and I felt the backups, which was Sullivan and Rolder at the time, were as good as you'll find. So thankfully with the injuries, they've been able to rotate, and Wink Martindale told us he doesn't even ask, hey, who's on the field? He just calls his defensive scheme because he trusts all the guys in his defensive room.
Well, Sullivan makes the tackle on that play, just a pickup of 2, 3rd down and 8 coming up for Maryland. It's 36% conversion rate on 3rd down this year. The same can be said for the Michigan defense, allowing just 36% on conversions.
And 3rd down will be a fun matchup, as we just said. This Terps offensive line only giving up 4 sacks on the entire season. We know Wink Martindale and this Michigan defensive front, they love to bring the heat. They want to get after Malik Washington.
Going to get a free play here. Lofts it in the air, and it's going to be caught just outside the 20-yard line. Shalik Knotts moved the chains on a big play from Malik Washington.
Well, getting to that second snap count is critical. Michigan had trouble with this. Northwestern was able to get them to jump off sides a number of times last week.
Offside. Defense number 23 in the neutral zone at the snap. The penalties decline. We follow the play as a 1st down.
Maryland's been pleading for big plays. They got one there.
Exactly, and it's a good awareness by Malik Washington. One, to go to that double count on 3rd and 8, to get the free play, the awareness that he has a free play, and then notice how he put air under that ball. That gave a chance for Shalik Knotts to adjust back to the football, and like you said, Jeff, finally an explosive play for Pep Hamilton.
That was good for 29 yards. From the 24-yard line, handed off again to Juan Williams, runs into a slew of Wolverines, still trying to push the pads. Picks up 3 on 1st down.
Now here down in the red zone, this is a game within the game. Big reason Michigan was able to leave Wrigley last week victorious is the defense came up with some big red zone stops against Northwestern.
It's Pep Hamilton, the offensive coordinator for Maryland in his 1st year. Guy who's got tons of Michigan ties.
He's going to have to be at his best again down here in the red zone to pull off this upset against Michigan. You need touchdowns, not field goals.
Trying to reverse. Now they're going to pass it with Washington. Now he's going to use his legs. He's got a 1st down and steps out of bounds inside the 10. He used those legs against Rutgers. It's 1st and goal for the Terps.
Right on cue, talking about Pep Hamilton needing to come up with something. Pulls this trick play out of his hat. Little double reverse, looking at a flea flicker. Washington was looking to hit some of his targets downfield. Michigan had great coverage, but it was man coverage, and that meant no one was at the 2nd level. Washington showing off his athleticism. Like you said, Jeff, they've challenged him to use his legs more. Nice little chunk run there.
From the 8-yard line, 1st and goal, Maryland. Washington gonna keep, and he's brought down to the 10-yard line. Great pursuit from Brandon Hillman. Lost his helmet, made the tackle anyway.
It's a beautiful job by Brandon Hillman, just staying patient. He was the backside safety, trying to run a speed option into the boundary. Michigan has perfect contain, and Brandon Hillman, he's a big hitter. I mean, he's a guy that probably should be playing safety back in the early 2000s for the Steelers or the Ravens. But at times he's missed some tackles. That time, good form tackle in the open field. And now in comes number 25, Mason Curtis, the sophomore.
Loss of 1 on the play. 2nd and goal. Throw to the outside. Good blocking in front. And just outside the pylon goes Octavian Smith on the catch. 3rd and goal for the Terps.
Perimeter blocking, perimeter tackling will be a major factor in this game. We've told you the Terps have struggled to run the ball. They use these little screens to complement the run game, and now get down to the 1-yard line, and it's just big on big down here.
Got an extra offensive lineman in there with a tight end number. I formation for Maryland. Gonna hand it off. Williams stuffed at the half-yard line. Decision time for Maryland.
No decision, in my opinion. You have to go for this. You get all the way down again to pull off this upset. You need touchdowns. And there wasn't much conversation here. Mike Loxley keeping his offense on the field.
Fourth and goal. Washington to pass. Over the middle. Caught. Touchdown Terps. Dorian Fleming. What a drive for Maryland.
What a drive indeed, and that's a big-time catch by Dorian Fleming, a contested catch. Brandon Hillman was in position. He had Fleming covered, but what the best tight ends do, which Fleming is a darn good tight end in this conference, boxes out Brandon Hillman, uses his body, and comes up with the contested catch touchdown.
Use that 6'3", 245 body. Extra point is up and good, and an opening drive touchdown for the Maryland Terrapins. Two big plays, but the last one was the key. Fleming with his third touchdown reception of the year.
Here's our keys to the game, sponsored by Modelo. For Michigan, this is true every single week. They have to win the line of scrimmage on both the offensive and defensive side of the ball. For Maryland, have to win the turnover battle, something to tip the odds in their favor. Second best turnover margin in the Big Ten, 12th nationally. They forced the second most interceptions.
Oh, onside kick. Does Michigan have it? Pile at the bottom. Michigan does get it. A little trickery there from Maryland. They're going to give the Wolverines outstanding field position. They tried the onside kick. It didn't work out. It's a heck of an idea from Mike Loxley.
That's a great job by Chase Taylor. I believe that's number 29, Chase Taylor. Staying patient. Maryland must have seen something on film. You usually do that if you anticipate Michigan to leave early, but Chase Taylor stayed disciplined. You're taught to keep your eyes on that ball until the ball leaves the kicker's foot. Great discipline and a great play by Chase Taylor there, coming up with a favorable field position for the Wolverines.
He got a helmet right in the gut too, and still able to hang on. Bryson Kuzdal is the running back from Michigan. Underwood to throw it, slings it incomplete. Was looking for his tight end, Tony Yelly. Second down and 10. Numbers for Underwood last week at Northwestern. Season high 280 yards. Ran for a touchdown, threw 2 picks. It was a sloppy game, but as you said, may have been his best by engineering that touchdown or the game-winning drive at the end.
Yeah, and that's part of the young quarterback experience. It was his best game. He made some huge plays and led them down there for the game-winning field goal, but the mistakes have to be ironed out.
They throw it to the outside. Kuzdal follows Max Bredesen with a block. A big gain on second down. Third down and short. There's Jordan Marshall available today, but Michigan deciding at least to hold him out for now. He is available for the Wolverines.
And our sideline, Brooke Fletcher, said it in the open. He was in good spirits down during warm-ups, moving around. It's a shoulder injury, so it's not going to affect his lower body movement, but he seemed in good spirits, which should make Michigan fans also be in good spirits.
Third and short on the first time that the Wolverines possess the football. Handed off. Kuzdal up the gut, and a first down for Michigan.
Next man up, that's the name of the game in football. Justice Haynes at one point was in the Heisman conversation. He goes down. In comes Jordan Marshall. Whoa, Michigan's got 2 great running backs. Well, now with Jordan Marshall being banged up, in comes Bryson Kuzdal, who was a 2-star, a Michigan kid, walked on to the Wolverines. But this staff, including Sharon Moore, says they have full trust in their young running back.
Gets it again on 1st and 10, trying to get to the outside. He's got the outside, stays on his feet, finally tripped up around the 15-yard line. Another big gain for Kuzdal.
And these big games are always group efforts. It's the offensive line, but take a look at number 9, Channing Goodwin, leading the way, almost playing that Max Bredesen type role. He's able to get a little chip on Jamari Glasker, the corner, give Kuzdal a nice lane to cut up inside.
A couple of tight ends in the formation with Klein and Jalen Hoffman on the field now from the 14-yard line. It's all Kuzdal on this opening drive. He gets it again. And he's wrapped up by the Terps after a pickup of 1. Daniel Wingate among the tacklers for Maryland.
I mean, this is going to be the game here. Can Maryland compete at the line of scrimmage? Right now, they're 16th in the Big Ten in rushing yards allowed per game, 103rd in the FBS. Just have been beat up front. They don't have the depth consistently throughout this season. We all know the game plan for Michigan is going to be to run the ball. Can the Terps compete and win these early downs?
Handoff Kuzdal again, and he's brought down. Dylan Fontes got his hands in there and brings down Kuzdal. I tell you, Maryland has seen a ton of rushing against them as well. Over 150 direct runs the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, I thought, I was like, wait a second, did you say that right? Talking to Ted Monachino, their defensive coordinator, and said that's what teams are doing. They're testing the run defense and really the mentality of the Terps. But like you see here, if you win first and second down, now you get into an obvious passing situation. They got some talented young pass rushers in Sidney Stewart, Zahir Mathis. Both those two freshmen are top 10 in the conference in sacks.
And we're going to get a timeout by Michigan. Ahead of this 3rd down and 8. 7:09 to go in the first quarter. Football on the Big Ten Network brought to you by Discover, the official credit card of the Big Ten Conference. And brought to you by Air Force. Scene on the street before you get into CQ Stadium, welcoming the Maryland Terrapin football team into the locker room before the game today. 3rd down and 8. Opening drive for Michigan. Kuzdal, the running back. They're going to throw it, and it is going to be caught by Marsh. Touchdown, Michigan. Flag on the play. If it stands, it's another touchdown for Marsh.
29 defense. Penalties declined. Result of the play is a touchdown.
What a dart from Underwood to Marsh.
Both the freshman quarterback using the snap count to get these free plays. And if it's one-on-one, it's going to be no mystery where Bryce Underwood is looking. He's looking to his other freshman, Andrew Marsh, who had a coming out party last week. 12 for 189 yards, big catches and big moments, and picking up right where he left off with a nice 50-50 ball fade touchdown. Beautiful, beautiful location on that ball from Bryce Underwood.
So both teams with an opening drive touchdown. Zavada on for the point after. The extra point is up and good. That follows the onside kick that gave Michigan very good field position. A lot of Kuzdal, and then you pay it off with a touchdown reception by Andrew Marsh. Right now, secure an early Black Friday deal with promo code SAVINGS25 and get 6 months of Big Ten Plus for just $4.99 a month to access hundreds more events across the Big Ten Conference. Scan the QR code on the screen to go to BigTenPlus.com. Make sure you enter SAVINGS25 when selecting a monthly pass at checkout to take advantage of this offer. 7-7 game, just over halfway through this first quarter. Both teams with opening drive touchdowns. You got a touchback, and we head out to Chicago and Dave Rebson.
Hey, Jeff, just want to update you on what's going on in Eugene. Each team scored a touchdown on its opening drive. Jordan Davison, his 13th score of the year, 7 all, but the Ducks in the red zone looking to go ahead.
Thanks so much, Dave. Both teams on opening drives here scoring touchdowns, Maryland and Michigan. Your Big Ten standings with this week and next week to go. That's a big one, of course, for Oregon and USC. Winners in the driver's seat for potentially making their way to Indy, depending on what happens next weekend. The big game, right? Still got to get through this one if you're Michigan, but they're right in the mix. Second drive, Malik Washington steps up, throws down the middle, catch is made by Jaleel Farouk. Just across the 40-yard line, they'll mark him right at the 40-yard line. First down, Terps.
The exact same location where he missed on the first drive, working that in route, that second window. Good job by Farouk settling down in the zone, and that time Washington did not miss his guy.
Nolan Ray is in the backfield. He goes in motion. Washington isolated on the right. Nice catch and spinning for a gain of 8 on first down. This is the opening drive for Maryland, Jake. A couple of big plays, they need them.
Yeah, and you can't script up a better drive than what Pep Hamilton had there. In our meeting, when we're meeting with Pep Hamilton, the offensive coordinator for Maryland, I think half the meeting was spent on the urgency to get those explosive plays.
Washington again back to pass. Little shovel pass out to Ray. He's got some space. Trying to get to the corner. He will, and pick up a first down into Michigan territory.
Malik Washington is just so special for a true freshman quarterback. All those fundamentals, the footwork, the pocket presence. He's grown so much throughout the season. That was just a good job of stepping up into the pocket, feeling the pocket start to collapse, and then just dumping it out to his running back as a check down, which turns into a first down.
Pull it out. Throw across the middle, incomplete. He had Octavian Smith on the slant. Smith didn't get his head around. 2nd and 10.
And to go back to that first drive highlight package, it's important to note here, remember, when you go into these games as an offense or really just any team, you come out with 10 to 15 scripted plays. You know exactly what you're going to run. So that first drive was right off the play sheet. Now the challenge is to do it again as Michigan's defense has settled in.
Pressure coming, and another incompletion right in the face mask of Dorian Fleming. 3rd down and 10.
Drops have plagued this football team throughout the season, and you look at some of these close losses that they've had. It's razor thin margins. Something that's within your control is catching the football. Well, Fleming had a nice contested catch to get a touchdown, but that one hit him right between the eyes.
Jayshawn Barham got a head start, but got movement from the left tackle. We'll see where the flag comes in and who they get. Was he drawn offsides by the former Terp? Everybody pointed at each other. No, you did it. No, you did it.
Offside. Defense number 1 causing the offense to false start. 5-yard penalty. They're down.
Let's go downstairs. Brooke Fletcher.
Well, guys, first off, Andrew Marsh, he was fired up after that touchdown. But if you take a look right here, he's working with the trainer, just checking out that left hand. Just something to keep an eye on, guys.
All right, thanks so much, Brooke. His first catch went for a score. Squeezing out those fingers. Bonus 5 yards. 3rd and manageable now for Maryland. They're going to run it. DeJuan Williams brought down by Barham in the backfield. Well, you ran it on 3rd down. Does this mean potentially a 4th down and go for it?
It could be, but this TFL is the key. They're trying to pull their tackle back across the line of scrimmage, and Jalil Farouk, he's the key as a wide receiver. You have to get at least a piece of that defensive end, and he didn't get anything there. Of course, we all know Jayshawn Barham is going to be fired up for this game. Started his career here at Maryland, transferred to Michigan, and now playing himself into maybe a day 2 pick at next year's NFL draft. Made up for the offsides.
So Andrew Marsh back deep. He's the new punt returner for Michigan. Receives it. He's going to return it. Gets to the 15-yard line and spins forward out to the 17-yard line. So Marsh back on the field. Fields that punt. 36-yard punt. Take a timeout.
Last week was the full experience for freshman quarterback Bryce Underwood. You saw so many flashes of what makes him so special. Then you saw some of the youth with the interceptions. But most importantly, when he got to have it, had to have it situation, led his team down to score the game-winning field goal. Best throw of the season on 3rd and 10 to, guess who? Andrew Marsh. Also had a nice little scramble on 3rd and 5 to move the chains. So it's the full experience with Bryce Underwood.
Play action pass on 1st down. Slings it, and it's picked off and dropped. Oh, that was in the breadbasket of Lavian Scruggs. He just could not bring it in, and down on the play is Donovan McCulley. He's able to get up, but he needs to go to the sideline. That could have been 6 for the Terps.
No doubt. Underwood very, very lucky here. This ball just sailed on him. McCulley is 6'5" with long arms, so to miss him that bad, that is a big-time miss and a big-time missed opportunity for Maryland and Scruggs. They don't miss those much. When those DBs have a chance to pick the ball off, they come down with it. That could have been a pick 6. Instead, it's Michigan ball, second in the FBS in interceptions, Jeff.
And they've had 4 pick 6s on the year, too. That could have been a good old number 5. Put Marsh in motion on 2nd and 10, and a flag.
False start. Offense number 51. 5-yard penalty, first down.
False snap there by Greg Crippen. You see him rock back there?
Yep. That's all it takes. Good eye there by the official. Not much, but he's not going to miss it. And what Sharon Moore told us, he said this was a Harbaugh'ism, but as far as Bryce Underwood, you don't want to take the wild rider out of the cowboy. There's so much special about Bryce Underwood, but those mistakes didn't cost him last week, but will cost him at some point.
Flushed out, finds Marsh. Marsh trying to make a man miss, rolling with the tackle. 3rd down and manageable now for Michigan after a pickup of 11.
And since that first bye week, coming out of that first bye week, Andrew Marsh has been special. It was after the Nebraska game, they start sprinkling him in. He's been one of the best receivers in all of college football, not just the Big Ten. Really, he is their wide receiver 1 and has that special relationship with Bryce Underwood. He's up there in the top hash, wide receiver 1.
To pass, Underwood in trouble, throws to Bredesen, who makes the catch. Bredesen stopped just short of the 30-yard line, but it's a first down. Just his 2nd catch of the season.
What a big play for Bredesen. You see him in there to help protect with all these injuries to the running back room. Max Bredesen becomes their best pass pro running back, and you don't see that all too often. Not targeted a ton in the pass game, and that ball had some mustard on it, Jeff. A good catch by the fullback. Gets to move the chains.
Donovan McCulley back on the field, goes in motion. Handed off. Kuzdal following his blockers and picks up 5, maybe 6.
Max Bredesen is one of those guys. I mean, he quite literally is Michigan football. He's everything you want in a football player, a leader. Remember, he was roommates with Bryce Underwood back during fall camp. I think Sharon Moore said, let's room Bryce with Max Bredesen, one of the best leaders on the football team. And when his number is called upon, he consistently makes the plays.
Handoff again. Kuzdal trying to get the corner, made a man miss, and leans forward for a Michigan first down.
Once again, he motioned down Max Bredesen. Little crack pole play. He sealed the edge there. And Kuzdal, you see the burst. Each one of these running backs, Jordan Marshall, Justice Haynes, they all have a unique style about their game. I think Kuzdal probably has the best high-end speed in that running back room. And every time he's had an opportunity, the burst becomes immediately apparent. Got a chance to see it there out in the open field.
38 yards on the ground so far for Kuzdal. Underwood throws. He's got his man wide open. Marsh found the zone, and he's into Terp territory at the 35-yard line. Gain of 25. And down on the play is Lakai Rowland.
Officials timeout for a player injury.
You could find the hot spots. That field location is the hot spot for Bryce Underwood. That intermediate throw out to the right side of the field. That time they got there by running a corner route with Andrew Marsh. And we'll see you after this quick 30-second break.
Lakai Rowland, who made the tackle on Marsh on that last play heading towards the medical tent. Shot right to the side of his helmet from Marsh.
Well, it's that time of the football season where injuries are just piling up. And for each team, when you think about their ultimate goals, for Maryland, it's to get to that bowl game. For Michigan, it's to get back into the college football playoff, maybe to Indy to compete for a Big Ten championship. One of the key pieces is which team can stay healthy, can get healthy. Injuries piling up for both of these teams.
Freshman Brandon Lee takes over for him. Cusdall bounces off of a couple of tacklers and able to get back to the line of scrimmage before being wrapped up by Lee, as well as C.J. Smith, another talented freshman linebacker.
Let's just think about earlier in the drive. Bryce Underwood, one sails on him. It goes right into the hands of Scruggs, and he drops it. Third down, a chance to get off the field. Max Bredesen moves the chains. 2 missed opportunities for the Terps, and now Michigan approaching scoring position.
Underwood throws across the middle. That's the tight end, Zach Marshall, with the catch. Inside the red zone goes Michigan.
This is such a beautiful job by Bryce Underwood. It all starts with his feet and fundamentals. Good job just standing tall in the pocket. Allows him to rip that throw right in there. It's a seam bender.
Underwood flips it out. Marlon Klein has it, jumps over one, and he's out of bounds. What is it with all the hurdling by these tight ends, Jake?
I don't know. Back when I played, I couldn't do any of this. These guys are different athletes. Marlon Klein, my goodness. 6'6", 250, dominant run blocker, but he's really athletic. Great athlete. See it there, hurdling the Maryland defender. And chance to give some credit here to Steve Kasula, the co-OC and tight end coach. That Michigan tight end room has been beat up throughout the season, but whoever's number's been called upon, those guys have stepped up and answered the call.
Maybe the last play of the first quarter. Jasper Parker gets the carry. Parker upended by Smith at the 5-yard line. And 1 quarter is in the book in Maryland. All tied 7-7.
Welcome back to CQ Stadium. The game tied here at the top of the second quarter. Coach, you know, you guys had an opportunity there just defensively to get that ball, but what do you need to continue to see in order to capitalize on those situations?
We've got to take advantage of the opportunities, the explosive plays. We had a couple on offense in the first drive. Defensively, we had a chance to get our hands, and those are the types of plays that we've got to make if we want to knock off a team like Michigan.
Coach, thank you.
Thanks.
That play right there by Lavian Scruggs, a drop that continued this drive from Michigan. 3rd down and short for the Wolverines. Cusdall puts his head down. He's got a 1st down. Still moving that pile, but they will stop progress at the 2-yard line. So 1st and goal for the Wolverines.
There's a reason this Michigan offensive line is a Joe Moore Award semifinalist. Back to that standard that allowed them to compete for Big Ten titles and national titles. This group, all the shuffling, the injuries, they're really starting to come together. And again, when your running backs get injured, Haynes out, Marshall out, what a luxury for Michigan to have such a dominant offensive line.
Got some confusion on the defensive end. Underwood snaps. Cusdall's got it. Walks into the end zone. Touchdown, Michigan.
Down here in the low red zone goal line situation, you're always taught if you win with your man, the running back will get into the end zone. Let's see what the officials are having a conversation about here.
Flag came out.
The defense had 12 players in the field. That's a foul for illegal participation. The penalties decline. Result of the play is a touchdown.
Told you about the confusion. Maryland didn't get enough players off the field. Here's Cusdall again, Jake.
Yeah, look at the left side of that offensive line. Just a ton of movement there by Marshall. You see El Hadi pull around. Jalen Hoffman, number 42, helps lead the way, and Cusdall almost untouched into the end zone. Just a physical finish to the drive there for the Wolverines.
3 freshmen have dominated this game so far for Michigan. Cusdall, Marsh, Underwood. 14-7 Michigan. Go to Dave Revson in Chicago for a studio update.
Jeff, back and forth they go in Eugene. USC going back to the well. Remember, this is a play that didn't work against Notre Dame. It works here. Mekhi Lemon throwing it to Tanook Hines. What a catch. 14-all Trojans and Ducks.
2 drives and 2 scores And the youth movement in Michigan is starting to pay off, Jake.
Just take a look at these numbers. It's almost hard to grasp. That 2023 national title team, 15-0 Big Ten championship. I think this Michigan team and Sharon Moore and the offense is held to that same standard, and it's good to have standards, but you need the context. This is a young team. Look at the offensive line average snaps. Almost cut in half. Your leading wide receiver, 1/3 of Roman Wilson. And now with the injuries to running back, you got Bryson Cusdall. And Blake Corum had over 1,000 more career snaps. So the context of this team sitting here at 8-2 is Sharon Moore's got a young football team playing good football. And yes, their youth does show up at times.
Fair catch called for. And Maryland gets their third possession. Tonight, C-Men's Hockey Live on Big Ten Plus. Second-ranked Wolverines continue their series with Ohio State. Download the Big Ten Plus app today. It's always game on. Malik Washington, another drive for him. Big plays have been there. That's what they've been looking for. That last drive stalled because of a couple of drops.
Drops on offense, drops on defense.
Freshman Iverson Howard gets the carry, slips one tackle and gets across the 25 down to the 27-yard line after a pickup of 2.
You saw that white flash with the winged helmet. That is number 12, Owusu Boateng. Remember, Ernest Hausman did not travel. The starting linebacker, the captain, the veteran. So they're rotating guys through. That time it was Owusu Boateng first to the party.
Washington to sling it, going deep. He's got a man with a step, and it's broken up. Zeke Berry got his hand in there and knocked it away.
That's such a great job by Zeke Berry. There was no safety in the middle of the field, and really initially number 4, Shalik Knotts, he had a step if Malik Washington was able to put that ball out in front of him. But nonetheless, great job by Zeke Berry getting back into position and batting that ball down, and he's another key piece of this defense. Came in as a safety, they move him to nickel, now he's out playing corner. Really, it's just, hey, wherever you need me, coach. Wink Martindale has a ton of trust in number 10, Zeke Berry. You can see why.
3rd and long, pressure coming. Got it across the middle, it's dropped and intercepted. And an ankle tackle saving a touchdown. Another pick. Mason Curtis came away with the interception.
And how about that? That is the exact same play that Scruggs dropped when Michigan was on offense. This time the ball sails on Malik Washington, falls right into the lap of number 25, Mason Curtis. Well, I mean, really that's another drop as well. I know it's not a perfect pass, but right through the hands of Shalik Knotts. Curtis grabs it, and the saving grace for Knotts there is he was able to bring down Curtis. Otherwise, that was looking like a pick 6.
First interception of the year for Curtis. Outstanding field position for Michigan inside the 25-yard line. Second time that they have started a possession in Maryland territory. Remember the onside kick after the touchdown from the Terps on the opening drive. And this one is blown dead. False start.
False start. Offense number 77. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Left tackle Blake Frazier.
It's a chance to talk about number 77, Blake Frazier. He's one of those guys that's had to step up when Evan Link gets injured, wearing that 77 like a number of legendary Michigan offensive linemen. John Jansen, Jake Long, Taylor Lewan, Trevor Keegan wore it most recently. I'll tell you, the future is really, really bright. It's bright, Jeff, for Blake Frazier.
Not bright outside right now. His sun is setting. There's a catch. Marshall again, his second reception. 2nd down and 5 coming up after a pickup of 10. Let's go downstairs to Brooke Fletcher.
Defensive back Lakai Rowland, remember he was banged up after tackling Andrew Marsh there. He went into the medical tent for several minutes. Just a few minutes ago, guys, he was just limping back with the trainer to the locker room. I'll keep you updated once I know more. All
right, thanks so much. And speaking of limping to the sideline, Daniel Wingate is making his way over to the Maryland sideline. He's been banged up for a while, dealing with a toe injury.
And these injuries, I mean, it's going to be a point of conversation. They've been piling up for the Terps, and Wingate is a guy they really just can't afford to lose. He's one of their best players, one of the best linebackers in the Big Ten. Most importantly, though, he's the leader of that defense, and he's been playing through these injuries. But this time he's going to have to head to the sidelines.
Underwood has hit his last 7 passes. Kuzdal in the backfield to his left. Kuzdal gets it ripped up, goes nowhere. Great play in the defensive backfield. Zahir Mathis, the praying mantis.
Listen, this is the perfect play call by Ted Monachino. That was supposed to be a read option, at least it looked like, and Bryce decided to hand the ball off because they were bringing nickel pressure. So if he kept it, he would have been tackled in the backfield. That time Zahir Mathis playing his assignment, having the running back, and comes up with the TFL. And now this is where the pass rushers really shine for the Terps.
He's got the specs on like Jalen Smith on the basketball team for the Maryland Terrapins. They set up the wide receiver screen. They've got McCulley. McCulley breaks a tackle through the middle. Touchdown, Michigan. Perfect setup, perfect blocking for 6.
That is just an outstanding play call by Chip Lindsey, the Michigan offensive coordinator, having great feel, understanding the Terps like to bring pressure. They have great pass rushers. Actually, Maryland dropped out of it. They dropped back into a zone coverage, and Michigan, those lead blockers out in space, were in perfect position. McCulley breaks 1 tackle. Touchdown, Wolverines.
3rd touchdown catch of the year for McCulley. We saw Trey Reddick come off the field slow too for Maryland after that play was over. And following the interception, Michigan pays it off with a touchdown. Zavada for the point after. Kick is up and through. 3 drives, 3 touchdowns, 21 unanswered points for the Michigan Wolverines. Underwood with a pass that's caught by McCulley. McCulley did the rest. All Wolverines in this first half. Three straight scoring drives from Michigan, and they have been perfect on 3rd down, Jake. 5 for 5 with a couple of touchdowns from Underwood.
Big reason why is their play caller, Chip Lindsey. Last year was frustrating for Michigan. It was frustrating for the team. It was Sharon Moore year 1, and I think Sharon knew some changes had to happen in the offseason, especially bringing in as talented of a quarterback as they were with Bryce Underwood. Going out to get Chip Lindsey, I think he's really hitting his stride as a play caller here down the stretch, and so far, especially on third down, calling great plays.
Mike Loxley on the other side, a coaching profile brought to you by Discover. Took these Terps to 3 straight bowls, 21 through 23. Had 6 picks in last year's draft, and an outstanding recruiting class coming in next year. And this week there was a lot of stirring around this program, and the athletic director Jim Smith giving Mike Loxley not only the vote of confidence that he is going to be sticking around, but also to get some support into this program, which they badly need. Washington, see if he can engineer a scoring drive. And there he goes into the open. Octavian Smith nearing Michigan territory.
Another explosive there. You know, that's a priority for Hamilton and Loxley. But to go back to what you're saying there, Jeff, it was really, really important for the athletic director, Jim Smith, to come out and back Loxley. You know, you look at the results of the game, and that's black and white. But he said the context is this team is young, and he sees improvement. He said, Loxley, we give you even more support. The best is yet to come.
Across the middle, and the ball off the hands of Fleming. A lot of the the roster resources that the Terps had this year. They came into camp maybe 104 players. You got injuries that have played a major part in it that affects your practice time. That's what these guys are playing for the next 2 weeks. They're playing for extra practices. If they can get to 6 wins, they get 15 bonus practices, and the world of difference that'll make for this program. To the outside to Farouk, and he breaks through for a first down for the Terps.
Just to continue the conversation here, Jeff, these are two of the youngest teams in the Big Ten. Maryland has a talented young core led by their quarterback Malik Washington. Their running back DeJuan Williams is a redshirt freshman. Those pass rushers, Sidney Stewart, Zahir Mathis, C.J. Smith, the linebacker. The big piece is getting more resources for Loxley to go recruit, of course, but also to keep this young core here. It's going to be a bright future for the Terps.
Washington steps up, sidearm pass, almost into the hands of Curtis again. Fleming has had some passes on his hands that he's only corralled the one for the touchdown.
And those are catchable balls, but not the best balls for Malik Washington either. And one of his big strengths, remember there's only 4 sacks allowed on the season. One of the big strengths for Malik Washington is he doesn't hold on to the ball. He gets rid of it quick. I think right now he looks a little bit rushed. He's not getting his feet set. That's leading to some inaccuracies.
Williams up the middle and slung down by Barham. Third down and 9 for the Terps.
This is a good example and showcase of why those little mistakes add up. If you catch that ball, you're looking at 3rd and short or 1st and 10. The drop, the miss, now you're 3rd and 9. This is where Michigan thrives.
Bringing pressure over the middle. Fleming got his hands on it, secures it, first down Maryland inside the 30-yard line. Good pass by Washington.
An outstanding pass protection too. Wink Martindale dialing up pressure, brings both linebackers. The O-line and running backs work together, give Washington a clean pocket, and that time he's able to step into the throw, delivers an accurate strike, catch, and first down.
Drive continues for Maryland. Handles a high snap, handed off on the draw play. Williams crunched after a gain of 2. And Trey Williams got his big body in there on the stop.
It's a pivotal moment here in the game. Michigan's been able to really seize control of the momentum. Now Maryland trying to fight to get it back. Really needs some points, and really you need a touchdown if you're Coach Loxley and the Terps offense.
Washington slings it. Catch made. Caleb Webb on the reception. Let's go downstairs to Brooke.
Got a couple of updates for you guys. Daniel Wingate, he came out of the medical tent. He ran back and forth. You can see him. He's on the bench right now, but just kind of getting a feel for that lower body. Update on him, but also on Trey Reddick, guys. We know you can see he's going into the medical tent there. We know that he is a huge leader for this team. It was big to have him back, so something we need to definitely keep an eye on.
Thanks, Brooke. First down and 10, and a flag comes out and a false start. Saw some pressure coming from TJ Metcalf. The nickel corner may have caused some flinching.
False start. Offense number 76. 5-yard penalty. First down.
There's the right tackle, Latrell Perry. And for Maryland, scoring on that opening drive, it was their first red zone touchdown since October the 18th against UCLA. That is one of the major things for Maryland this year. They have struggled scoring touchdowns in the red zone. Just 11 touchdowns in 29 trips.
It's just so hard, if not impossible, to win games that way.
Empty backfield. Washington steps up, going end zone, and it's incomplete. He had Farouk and right through his hands.
It's just been the theme of the day. Washington's been a yard or a couple feet off. Beautiful pocket, great protection. He steps up. Oh my gosh, that's just a huge missed opportunity. You get exactly what you want with coverage. Farouk finds the zone, and Washington just misses him by a foot or two.
2nd and 15 for Maryland from the 20. Set up the screen. DeJuan Williams bleeds through inside the 10. A 3rd down and short coming up for the Terps.
That's a really nice play call there by Pep Hamilton too. Just the quarterback is not quite accurate. Get him a screen. Get back into 3rd and manageable. And I'd say again, Jeff, I mean, you need touchdowns here. Loxley is playing to win. You got 2 plays.
2 plays to pick up 4 yards.
Bunch set. If it's man-to-man coverage, you're going to try to run a pick play.
5 wideouts. Washington. Trouble. He is down. Sacked for just the 5th time this year. Jay-Sean Barham came in from the backside and picks up the sack.
I think Wink Martindale had Malik completely fooled. They motioned the running back out into the outside the numbers, and Michigan sends a linebacker with them, so it's indicating man coverage, but they played zone down to the bunch. Washington didn't trust his eyes, and Barham, he only needs you to hold on to that ball for a split second because he's getting home as he did there.
4th sack of the year for Jay-Sean Barham, the former Terp. And we've got some confusion as Maryland is down a player. Only had 10 men on the field right there. That could have been a major problem, and a timeout called to get another body on the field.
First team charge timeout, Maryland. 32nd timeout.
They rushed Charles Moore, I should say Carlos Moore, onto the field in protection. And for Barham, who's playing in his first game since he was a Terp back in Maryland, picks off J.J. McCarthy here back in November of 2023. It's a close game that ended up going in Michigan's favor. Now he's wearing the maize and blue.
I mean, he's always been a big-time football player. He was getting playing time as a freshman here at Maryland, and it looked like there was really no ceiling to his game. And immediately, I remember the first spring when he transferred into Michigan, there was whispers saying this guy has a chance to be a first-rounder. And then it's been a great fit with Wink Martindale as he's moved him down on the line of scrimmage, kind of a hybrid linebacker edge.
From 34, O'Hare is true. 18 out of 20 kicking field goals this year for Sean O'Hare. Maryland gets points, down 11. Still ahead, the triple header continues when Illinois battles Wisconsin under the lights at Camp Randall tonight, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific on the Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports app. And good for Maryland to get points on that drive. Snaps that stretch of 21 unanswered from Michigan. Still 7 minutes left on the clock in the second quarter. Very returnable inside the 10-yard line from Marsh. Marsh hit and dropped right at the 20-yard line. This is the big sack on 3rd down for Michigan.
Yeah, and it's a chess match. See the running back going outside. That's Jimmy Roeder going to follow him in coverage, and that's a man indicator. So Malik Washington thinks he has man-to-man coverage down to the bunch. Watch how it plays out, though. Wink ends up having them play zone coverage, and Malik is completely fooled. He's looking all the way, expecting man, nothing there. And again, all Barham needs is a split second. If you hold on to that ball 1 extra second, he's going to come up with the sack. That's a coverage sack by what Wink did with the coverage to confuse the freshman quarterback.
3 drives, 3 scores for Michigan. Handed off. Kuzdal's got a big hole dropped by Brandon Lee as the ball popped out. Who's got it? Maryland says they have it. Still some fighting for that football. Maryland came out of the skirmish with the ball. Officials have not ruled anything yet. Have not indicated possession yet.
Prior to the fumble, the runner's elbow was down. It's second down.
Saying down by contact. We'll see. There's the hit. Is the ball out? No. Still secured by Bryce Cusdall.
Wow.
That's a big play.
Yeah, Braden Lee, number 2, the corner, comes up and hits him low, and looked like the ground did cause the fumble there as Cusdall's elbow hit the ground. But a huge call there for sure.
So instead of a fumble, it's a gain of 8 for Cusdall. Underwood throws down the middle, catch. McCulley across midfield. Another dart from Bryce Underwood.
And another great play call by Chip Lindsey. Andrew Marsh, you see him running right across your screen there. Everyone's eyes are on number 4. That's the clear out route, which allows McCulley to run the dig right in that vacated pocket. Call that concept dagger. And Underwood with a dagger to the Terp defense. Jeff?
Nicely done.
Yes.
2 catches for 46 yards from McCulley, including a score. Going to throw it again. Get it to the outside to Goodwin. Goodwin wrapped up before the 40-yard line. Channing Goodwin, an outstanding blocker. That's his 10th catch of the year. Does all the little things you want from a wide receiver.
That's the standard that Sharon Moore is trying to set here, and really has been set going back to the Jim Harbaugh days, is it takes all 11 on offense. If you don't block and participate in the run game, we won't throw you the ball. Remember, Goodwin had that key block on a long run from Cusdall back in the first quarter, and now rewarding him with a little screen pass.
Cusdall gets it, hit, and wrapped up. Joel Starlings made the tackle. Second down, should say third down and short.
It's a good job keeping his feet here. Michigan loves to get up in tempo and then run a little quick A-gap run.
That's where they're going right now. Load up that line. Cusdall gets that first down. It's like you've watched film, Jake. Nice job.
It's the bread and butter play in short yardage situations, and you see the technique there too as Underwood, he kind of steps into it and almost shoves Cusdall up through the A-gap. But offensive line, it's all about them winning at the line of scrimmage, the point of attack. Sensing a play action shot here at some point.
There's your play action. Underwood steps up and he's brought down. Bryce, I should say, Ian Thomas picks up his 2nd sack of the season.
It was a play action shot, Jeff.
It was
a little double move. It was a post corner and then go, and it looked like Donovan McCulley was running that corner and up down the sideline. Underwood, he had a touchdown. He just didn't have the time. Terps defense was able to collapse the pocket.
It's a very opportunistic defense for the Terps. They're plus 11 in the turnover margin coming into the game. Had a drop pick on that 2nd touchdown drive from Michigan that continued the drive. Underwood to throw it, goes across the middle, sets it up. That's Klein with the catch, 3rd and manageable for the Wolverines.
That's another one of their bread and butter plays. I used to love this one. It's a little Y-hide, a chip, kind of a little tight end screen effectively. Easy way to pad the stats, Jeff. And free catch, free completion, and most importantly for Michigan, it gets them back into 3rd and manageable.
3rd and 4 from the 31. Underwood's been great on 3rd down so far. Perfect 3 for 3 with a couple of touchdowns. Jasper Parker is the running back. Underwood to throw, looking left. He's going to run. Underwood's got it and almost took a huge hit from Reddick, who's back on the field. Slid down, 1st down, Michigan.
And this is really the part of Underwood's game that makes him so special. He is a super athlete, and a good job there. Not forcing anything. Terps in good coverage and kind of sensing that vacated area there in the middle of the Terps defense. We had that key third down rush on 3rd and 5 to move the chains before the game-winning kick last week.
He's still perfect on 3rd down tonight for Michigan. Underwood to throw it. He's going deep, looking Marsh's way. It's off the helmet of a Terp, and it falls innocently out of bounds. Good coverage from Maryland in the end zone.
Yeah, it really was great coverage. Michigan again running the double move. Yep, that hit number 2, Braden Lee in the helmet. Dante Joyner was also in position. And, you know, that's Bryce Underwood just giving his guy a chance. This is, again, the evolution of Michigan's offense, something that they really just didn't do last year, couldn't do last year, and are comfortable doing this year, but better defense by the Terps.
Underwood sets it up. Missed tackle on Goodwin. And then a nice tackle that time by Lee to prevent a bigger gain by Goodwin. 2-minute timeout in College Park. $11-point lead for Michigan. 2 minutes to go in this first half. Trivia time brought to you by T-Mobile, who was the last Michigan player with more receiving yards in a single game since Andrew Marsh's 189 last week. Go to our resident Wolverine in the booth.
I do know the answer.
I cheated on the test, but what do you got?
It's back in my playing days when Jim Harbaugh was the coach. War number 86 for the fans at home.
Okay, there's your hint. 3rd down coming up. Marsh, he's blasted. Ball is out. They're going to say incomplete. Marsh got hammered by Glasker. And Glasker is still down.
Pass, timeout for an injured player.
Oh, that is a huge collision. Glasker just hit a 10-yard running head start and ran right into the rib cage of Andrew Marsh.
That was a big league collision right there. Wow. Right into the midsection
Timeout on the field.
Andrew Marsh. It's the first 3rd down stop of the day for the Terps. We'll be back in just a moment. (21-10) Michigan. Good to see Glasker get up. He's headed into the medical tents. This was the big hit.
Yeah.
Man. Big hit. Sharon Moore dapping it up right there with Glasker. It's a good football play. Brings on Zavada for a 38-yard try. Was 1 for 3 last week. Has won the game winner at Wrigley. From 38, and it is no good. He pushed it wide right. So Maryland gets the stop on 3rd down, and Zavada misses his 3rd in the last 2 weeks.
And at 4th and 5, Sharon Moore, he's not afraid to go for it, but I think he sends out Zavada saying, hey man, you're trying to settle you into the season. He was an All-American last year, one of the best kickers in college football, and just has struggled at times this season. As you said, Jeff, made the one that counted against Northwestern, but they all count here down the stretch with the goals that Michigan has, especially next week. I mean, they beat Ohio State in Columbus because of the foot of Zavada.
So now you flip the script. 2 timeouts, 1:53 to go for Maryland. They cash it in with a touchdown here, and you got a brand new ball game.
Absolutely.
DeJuan Williams, the running back, trying to engineer a 2-minute drive. Washington to pass with pressure coming. Washington throws it at the feet of the defender. They had Williams out in the flat and threw it right at the feet of Dominic Nichols. Moments ago, Glasker came out of the medical tent and now heading back into the medical tent. Check on his availability. He's an outstanding defensive player. 3 picks this year and had the big hit on Marsh. to force the missed field goal try. 2nd down and 10. And they hand it off. Decent hole. Williams wrapped up. Hillman with another tackle. Pickup of 4 and a timeout used by Michigan. We'll be back in 30 seconds.
Timeout, Michigan. 30.
Trivia time brought to you by T-Mobile. Last Michigan player with more receiving yards in a single game since Andrew Marsh's 189 last week. Jake, your old teammate, buddy.
That's my guy. Yep, Jehu Chesson. Mar Darbo was with us as well, but I remember that game. There we are, 88 and 86. That was a triple overtime game against Indiana. Extremely dramatic, and Jehu really kind of won the game for us.
Washington back to pass on 3rd down. He's got Farouk a 1st down and more out to the 35-yard line. Big 3rd down conversion for Maryland. Clock stops to move the chains. They're all set. Clock moves under 90 seconds. Washington sets it up. Williams going across the formation, hit, and he's down to the 45-yard line. Again, a 1st down for Maryland. Sniffing Wolverine territory.
In 2-minute situations, those checkdowns are so critical. Michigan's going to play drop coverage and late getting onto the field here.
Washington tucks. Washington's going to run it, and he'll run it out of bounds. Good decision stopping the clock. 1:03 to go in the 1st half. Caught Michigan in a late substitution there. Damon Payne was running on the field as the snap was coming in. Still all kinds of time for Maryland, plus 2 timeouts. Bring an extra man into the flat, incomplete, may have been tipped. Coming up on the halftime show, brought to you by Old Trapper. Dave Revson, Howard Griffith, Marcel Reese standing by. 1st half analysis. Ohio State with another win, going into the game against Michigan next week. And another great game for Northwestern at Wrigley Field. Picked up their 1st win ever, did Northwestern, at Wrigley.
David Braun is a great coach, and he's got the Cats rolling. That had Michigan spooked last week.
3rd down 7. Washington dumps it off and incomplete, in and out of the hands of Shalik Knotts. And I think he felt some heat coming his way. 56 seconds to go. I believe that if Washington had a couple of extra moments, he had somebody wide open down the middle.
Yeah, Octavian Smith was dancing and skipping. There's number 5. You see him running that double move, and oh my goodness, did he cook. Number 25, Mason Curtis. Malik Washington had time. He had time, had a clean pocket, and he has the arm to rip it downfield. Just didn't.
McPherson to kick it away. Marsh on the return. Marsh pushed out of bounds. We'll be back in 15 seconds. $11-point lead right now for Michigan. Got a 14-yard return from Andrew Marsh. It was a big deal in the press conferences this week for Michigan. The switch to Andrew Marsh as the punt returner. Samaj Morgan not even with the team this week. Did not travel.
Special teams in general for Michigan.
Underwood finds Marsh, and he goes out of bounds. 44 seconds to go. 1 timeout left for Michigan.
It's just such a beautiful ball. We've seen Underwood. He loves to zip it. He's got a great fastball, but that time took a little off of it and layered it in. He was able to layer it in over that underneath zone defender to Andrew Marsh.
Pressure from Maryland. Underwood's going to run it and tripped up. Nice play in the open field.
I think if you're Sharon, you got to call a timeout here.
Not doing it yet. He snaps it. Underwood throws. He's going deep sideline. Marsh got a hand on it, incomplete. He was zipping it to Marsh. That would have been amazing. Scruggs there to put a shoulder into Marsh.
I mean, Andrew Marsh, he is so special for a true freshman. Remember, he was creating a ton of buzz back during spring ball and living up to the hype now. I think he's the next great Michigan wide receiver.
Underwood to pass again. Flush to his left. He's going to run with it. And he gets hammered as he goes down, picks up that first down. Chains will move. Still a timeout left. 14 seconds. Trying to get all set up. Time ticking away. Underwood to pass, and he goes down. Sidney Stewart on the back end picks up the sack, and that is how the first half ends. The Bull charging in for another sack.
That's the end of the first half.
There, I would have loved to see Sharon Moore use a timeout just to get his team settled in, but he didn't, and Sidney Stewart beats Blake Frazier.
A couple of big hits for Underwood those last two plays. First it was Wingate. That was the first down pickup. And then Sidney Stewart coming in on the blind side, picking up another sack, his 7th of the season.
Yeah, Sidney Stewart.
Football on the Big Ten Network is brought to you by UKG HR Pay and Workforce Management, and by Copilot on Windows 11. Meet the computer you can talk to. Senior day in College Park, Maryland and Michigan. It's number 18 Michigan with an 11-point lead, just about ready to start this second half. Hanging, everybody, and welcome back to the Shell. Jake Butt, Brooke Fletcher down on the field, Jeff Levering with you. Thanks again for being with us tonight. And Jake, really third down success was the big difference. Bryce Underwood and this Michigan team 8 out of 9.
Yeah, it's the kind of the game within the game, and you know that's really where it falls on the shoulders of your quarterback, Bryce Underwood, from a decision-making standpoint. Can you identify the right guy? Sometimes it's your legs, and Bryce Underwood has shown you a little bit of everything. And when in doubt, find number 4, Andrew Marsh, another true freshman. Those guys are developing a really special relationship. Expect more of those two here in the second half.
All right, let's head downstairs. Brooke Fletcher.
Yeah, Mike Loxley, he said, we have 30 minutes here. We have to come out with some intensity and capitalize on these opportunities. We were talking about all of them in the first half, and he said it starts with this offense here. Malik Washington, he loved what he saw on that first drive. He said, but we got the playmakers. They have to give him a chance. He said the rhythm is just a little bit off. I need them to settle in and be able to finish these drives. An injury update for you. Defensive back Lakai Rowland, we saw him go to the locker room in the first half. Coach Loxley said it doesn't seem like he's going to be coming out in the second, guys.
Thanks so much, Brooke. Now ready to get going here in this second half. A lot of maize and blue in the crowd in College Park. $30 more minutes worth of football for some of these seniors from Maryland on this home field. You kick it away, Marsh, and they kick it out of bounds. Oof. So they had a onside kick try after their first touchdown on the opening drive for Maryland.
Free kick out of bounds. Kicking team, Michigan is elected to take the ball at the 35-yard line. First down.
Michigan ended up recovering that. Now a kick out of bounds. They'll get it at the 35-yard line. Team comparison brought to you by Ace Hardware. See the 3rd and 4 yards or fewer. Maryland 0 for 2. Michigan 6 for 6. Therein lies a lot of the difference. Plus one takeaway that Michigan turned into 7 points. Dropped interception by Scruggs from Maryland. Would have halted the second drive of the game for Michigan. Set up the bunch. It's incomplete, out of bounds. Now, was that a forward pass? Did it go sideways? They say incomplete. Now, that is a lateral, then they get it where the ball went out of bounds, but ball moving forward, incomplete.
It was close. Let's see. Good shot of it. That's
very close.
Very close.
2nd down and 10. Handed off. Kuzdal, left side, big hole and a huge hit. Wingate lowering the boom after a gain of 9.
Wow, that left side of the offensive line just completely washed the Terps defense. Just look at the line of scrimmage and the movement that gets generated. Frazier, Jalen Hoffman, you see El Hadi throwing bodies around with the pancake.
3rd and short. Kuzdal pushes forward for a 1st down. There's that A-gap run that Michigan loves so much. This offensive line has done a really nice job for Michigan. It's been patchwork. We talked about that at the beginning of the month of November, Jake, and how well that they have come together. And a lot of young guys up on that front 5 as well. Underwood to throw it. Underwood flush to his right, and he'll step out of bounds. Right around the line of scrimmage, maybe a half a yard, if anything. Is this a block in the back there, Jake?
It looked like it. Definitely looked like it. Deacon Tonelli on number 57, Bryce Jenkins. It was certainly close, but you know, Jeff, to go back to what you were mentioning there, it's something that doesn't get discussed. You know, obviously you need chemistry between quarterback and wide receiver, but chemistry in the offensive line room is really, really important.
Underwood to throw it, gets Marsh. Tackled by Lee. We have not seen Lakai Rowland out on Andrew Marsh since the 1st half. And Marsh a little slow to get up.
That was a really nice catch too. I mean, that ball had some zip on it once again. And Bryce Underwood, the big difference for him when he's playing at his best, it all starts with his feet and his eyes. That's just a little 3-step drop from the gun, off coverage. He knows he's going to go the hitch route all the way, but it starts with his feet as a foundation, making those easy completions become routine.
Underwood hands it off. Kuzdal is brought down by Trey Reddick. Pickup of 2.
To go back to the offensive line talk, though, and it's a ton of credit once again to Grant Newsome. You know, chemistry matters, and really the reason why is there's different body types. When you're working on a double team, it's important that you have good feel with the guy next to you because you want your footwork to marry one another. You want to be able to feel who's coming off to the second level or not. You also need to know which body types are able to reach the down lineman. So, you know, chemistry matters to get those 5 guys playing as one unit.
Underwood to throw it across the middle, feathered it in perfectly to Klein. Into the red zone go the Wolverines.
That is a big time throw. Maryland zone coverage, getting it over that underneath linebacker, underneath and in front of the safety. Marlon Klein finds that soft spot in the zone. That's a beautiful throw by Underwood.
Kuzdal runs. Kuzdal to the right side. Touchdown, Michigan. Perfectly blocked. And Kuzdal with his 2nd tutty of the day.
Well, once again, it's that offensive line. It's Greg Crippen and Jake Guarnera leading the way. Crippen, the veteran in the room, the leader as the center. He's really been playing some of his best football down the stretch of the season. And those 2 guys, Crippen and Guarnera, they open that thing up. And there's the burst that we were expecting to see from Bryson Kuzdal.
Had 1 touchdown on the season coming in. He's got 2 tonight as the lead back for Michigan. Zavada kicks it through, Jake.
There's the chemistry from the offensive line. They have to be on the same page. The right guard in the center. These two have those 2. And watch them sort this out right here. You see Guarnera with the movement. Crippen, his eyes, locks down and stones Wingate. Kuzdal in the end zone. Michigan celebrating.
History of the rivalry, sponsored by Venmo this football season. Score more with Venmo. This has been a rivalry dominated by Michigan. Only 1 win for the Terrapins. Came back in 2014. Jake, you were here for that victory for Maryland against your Wolverines.
Yep, 2014, they beat us. 2015 was a crazy one. There was like a hurricane warning coming in. It was supposed to be a night game kickoff. They bumped us up to noon. So night game, you're thinking we're not going to get home till 2 or 3 a.m. That stinks. No one wants to do that. And then because of the hurricane, which thankfully never really hit, there was no destruction. We ended up getting a noon kickoff. Everybody won.
And you got home at a decent hour. Both of those games were on the Big Ten Network. As Malik Washington and Terps have the football for the first time in the second half. They had some momentum going on their final drive, and it stalled just as they crossed midfield. See if they can answer the opening drive touchdown in the second half. Delay handoff. And DeJuan Williams wrapped up by Barham.
It's really great pursuit by Barham. And, you know, talking to Wink Martindale, there's just a certain confidence and togetherness and unity of this Michigan defense. Even going back to last year, they played their best football from November into the postseason. That theme is starting to once again hit here now.
Washington floats one down the sideline. He's got a man. Oh, incomplete. He had Caleb Webb all by himself. Washington's had a few of those today that he has just missed.
Yeah, and Webb just beat Jair Hill right off the line of scrimmage. Wink Martindale is trustworthy. He's not afraid to put Jair Hill in one-on-one coverage. That's Michigan's best defensive back. That time Caleb Webb beat him, and that is a touchdown if Malik can put it on him. But that's the theme of the day, Jeff. It's just been a foot or two off that has been the difference.
Third down and long. Pressure coming. Washington to the sideline, incomplete. Was looking for Octavian Smith. A flag is out right where Washington was hit. That reaction right there tells you everything you need to know from Sharon Moore.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, defense, number 9. 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
Cameron Brandt, the guilty party. A hit to the midsection, but that will keep the drive alive for Maryland.
That just wasn't needed, and I think that's what Sharon Moore is saying. Wink Martindale's down there with his palms up like, what are you thinking? What are you thinking?
Didn't see a lot there. It was a bit late. Washington to pass again. Washington finds his outlet across the field. Smith, and he's into Michigan territory with a first down for the Terps.
It wasn't a lot, but it also wasn't necessary.
Right.
And why even put it in the hands of the officials?
Pickup of 10 there. Washington shaking his hand after he made contact with the arm of the Michigan rusher. Floats another one down the sideline, and almost a one-handed catch by Knotts, and he got hammered. Hillman is laying the boom today for Michigan.
That's what Brandon Hillman does. He is the boom in the secondary. He might be one of the hardest hitting safeties in all of college football, and it looked like for Knotts he just kind of got caught in between steps, because that ball was accurate if Knotts was able to kind of open up his back hip, turn around and catch it, but he got kind of caught in between steps and had to try to catch it with one hand. The issue for the Terps, they haven't been able to catch it with two hands consistently this year with all the drops.
He's going to run it. He's got a seam, skips through one, and he's out of bounds, stepped out of bounds. Right around the 25-yard line, Malik Washington with a pickup of 23 yards.
This is what Pep Hamilton has been talking to his young quarterback, Malik Washington, saying, hey, man, we know you have a big arm. We know you can make every single throw, but they've been challenging him to get his legs going. Had a big-time touchdown on the ground to open the game against Rutgers, and has had some nice little runs here in the game today. That was a big run to now get him down into the red zone.
Longest run for either team. 23-yard gallop by Malik Washington. Sniff in the red zone. Octavian Smith is going to throw it. And Farouk fell down.
Octavian Smith Jr.
They had a trick play that worked exceptionally well in the first half. This trick play, just an incomplete pass.
Well, once again, the trick play in the first half, too, it was a little flea flicker, and Michigan was disciplined in their coverage in the back end. This is another trick play, but once again, Michigan disciplined in their coverage in the back end. That time it was TJ Metcalf. Every defensive coordinator says, hey, do your job. If you're in man-to-man coverage, play man-to-man coverage from snap to whistle. Let the defensive front come up and make the plays. That was just good team defense by the Wolverines.
To pass again, setting up the screen, got rid of it. Oh, he had Williams, but there was heat coming down on Malik Washington.
That time it's Derek Moore beating the right tackle, Alan Heron, and Washington had him if he had time.
Third down and 10, and down by 18 points, Jake. You got to get something here on third so that you can even think about a fourth down conversion. More pressure. Washington got rid of it, and it's caught. Nice catch by Octavian Smith. First and goal, Terps.
See, that is a big-time catch. Yep, his forearms are underneath it. That's a big-time catch, but an even bigger-time throw by Malik Washington. Michigan sending pressure, sending heat, and Washington just finds time, buys time, sinking back and back and back. He had to throw that off his back foot, and a nice catch by Smith.
Hand it off. Williams trying to get to the outside, and tackled around the 5. Second and goal.
The future is just so bright for Malik Washington, and it's a treat for us to watch both of these two true freshman quarterbacks today. It's the future of the Big Ten Conference and future of college football. And Malik Washington, yes, he's missed some throws. He's been a little off today, but it's flashes like that and plays like that where you're just reminded how talented this young man is.
And a trip into the red zone from Maryland. Washington to the corner of the end zone, incomplete. Intended for Smith. Third and goal.
That's beautiful coverage by Zeke Berry there, too, playing zone coverage. Washington was thinking about hitting DeJuan Williams in the flat, but Zeke Berry was able to cover 2 just with his positioning. He had the flat covered in, that corner covered. And now again, Jeff, you're probably thinking touchdown, right? So
2 plays to get 5.5 yards. Set up the bunch, the bottom of the formation. Send Williams in motion. Washington tucks it in, down he goes. Second sack.
That's the exact same thing that we talked about in the first half. They send their running back out in motion. Linebacker follows. Washington is thinking it's man-to-man coverage. Michigan plays zone to the bunch. And again, a coverage snap, coverage sack because of the confusion that Michigan's secondary had on Malik Washington, and the pocket collapses.
Looked like it was Derek Moore that pushed his defender into the body of Washington, knocked him down. So field goal try from 29. And O'Hare kicks it right through the uprights. So they convert on points. They're down by 15.
Welcome back. An update on Michigan captain Max Bredesen. He did not come out of the locker room after halftime. I'm told he suffered an injury at some point in the first half. We're still working on details on what exactly the injury is, but I'm told that he is not going to return, guys.
That is huge news. Thank you so much, Brooke. Max Bredesen, we haven't seen him on the field, as Brooke mentioned. So the other guys have to step up. A guy like Jalen Hoffman, a Zach Marshall, Deacon Tonielli. See what Michigan does. They're already down. Samaj Morgan today did not travel with the team. Ernest Hausman did not travel either. Another kick. Andrew Marsh's way as he runs into it, catches it at the 15. Marsh through the pile, gets to the outside. side. Marsh down the sideline and into Maryland territory. Well, the return game has treated Andrew Marsh very well, as he is now the punt returner and the kickoff returner. Hi again, everybody. Welcome to CQ Field. And I tell you what, Bryce Underwood has looked very good. Malik Washington has had some moments, too. It's a fun ball game we got going tonight.
Yeah, and I think this is really what Sharon Moore said, is that he didn't feel like they played 60 minutes of their cleanest football, and that really goes back to the quarterback, Bryce Underwood. And for the most part, he's played a clean game. You know, for Malik Washington, can't really say the same. It's been flashes of brilliance and potential, and at times just missed his receivers, and really that's kind of the difference in the game. That's how Michigan has been able to separate. They've taken advantage of their opportunities. Malik Washington has been unable.
Cusdahl gets the carry, and he busts through across the 40-yard line. Big day for Cusdahl on the ground. Let's go out to Chicago with Dave Revson.
Well, Jeff, Michigan State in search of its first conference win. They have scored touchdowns on their last 2 drives in Iowa City. Rashawn McCray from Alessio Milivojevic there, 17-7. They have started the 4th quarter at Kinnick.
That would be a huge upset. Cusdahl gets it again, and he's hit after a pickup of 1. Marsh and Cusdahl. That's been the game for Michigan. Marsh on the outside and in the return game, setting up Michigan again. They've been in Terp territory all night long.
Yep. And it's really such a luxury for Michigan to have Andrew Marsh emerge the way he has. I mean, he is the next great Michigan wide receiver, maybe a future first-round pick.
Underwood was looking his way, now flushed out to his right. And Underwood threw it away, got hit as he threw it. Nasir Taylor hit Underwood. And Marsh, who had just 1 catch going into October 1st. 1 catch. He's emerged as one of the best receivers in the conference.
I mean, look at those names up there. You're talking about Blitnikoff finalist. Jeremiah Smith, Makai Lemon, Carnell Tate, and Andrew Marsh, as a true freshman, stands atop of all of them. And part of this, again, I go back to bringing in Bryce Underwood, a 5-star, the best recruit in high school. And when Sharon Moore gets him to commit, all of a sudden you're thinking, hey, we can win national championships with this guy under center, but you needed to get him wide receivers, and Andrew Marsh and him freshmen together.
Underwood threw it away, and a flag comes in late as the ball is still in play. Cusdahl is tackled. There is a lot of chaos going on. The flag might be for a late hit of some sort. Maryland was asking for a flag for a hold. So let's clean this bad boy up.
Well, that's an incomplete pass. It's not a fumble.
It hit looked like a Maryland defender.
Loxley is asking there for intentional
Personal
grounding.
foul, roughing the passer, low hit. 40 defense. 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
All right, let's take a look.
Number 40 is Nasir Taylor. So I said a low hit there. It was a low hit, but
Yep.
I think that's just tackling in football.
Mike Loxley wanted grounding. There's a receiver that he's trying to hit across the middle and hit the defender right in the face.
Yeah.
I mean, he hits Daniel Wingate right in the face mask.
Yeah, it wasn't grounding. Marlon Klein, he was trying to get it to Marlon Klein. Cusdahl was also in the area. I don't know. I don't know what to say with these pass rushers. It's become problematic in college and the NFL as far as roughing the passer goes. And I understand you got to protect the quarterbacks for sure, but I don't really know what you can tell Nasir Taylor there. It looked like just a clean football tackle to me.
That was a tough one there. Jasper Parker gets the carry. Mike Pereira is out in Los Angeles. What did you have on the hit on this quarterback?
Yeah, this to me is the right call. Even though he wraps, you're going to see a wrap there. If you make any contact in that shoulder area with the shoulder in the knee area, so even if it's slightly above, that is one they're going to want to call to protect the quarterback. And not grounding, because there was a receiver in the area if it hadn't hit his team.
Thanks so much, Mike.
Mike, I got a question for you there. So how far off was he from that being a clean hit? Are you saying if his shoulder pad was on the thigh pads? Is it just because the shoulder pad was right on the knee, or how much higher would Taylor have needed to go for that to be clean?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't say when you really talk about knee area, you know, it's all about protection to the quarterback. I think you've got to be up to me almost about mid-thigh before you're going to be okay. But anything close, as they do to protect the quarterback, they're going to make that call.
Got a defender to jump. They go end zone on the free play. It's incomplete. And this will give Michigan a first down.
Offside, number 10 in the neutral zone to snap. 5-yard penalty results in a first down.
Cam Rice, that's 2 penalties on third down that have extended this drive for Michigan. First down and goal from the 9. So tough to be a defender these days, Jake.
Yeah, and again, I understand you have to protect the quarterback. But it is tough, Jeff.
Underwood to throw it. Under duress, Underwood's going to run. Underwood hit, and he is stopped just short. That was a big hit laid by Jalen Husky to keep Underwood out of the end zone.
And a little risky there. Watch at the end of this. He's looking like he's getting ready to reach the ball out. Watch right here real late. He is getting ready to reach it out and then pulls it back in. Remember in the Purdue game, he had a fumble that really kept that game much closer than what it would have been statistically. Same thing last week. Turnovers kept that game close. Bryce, you know, you got to know when to risk that and not.
I formation for Michigan. Handed off Kuzdal, following blockers. Did he reach in? No, they're going to mark him short.
It did look, I mean, he reached it. I don't know where his body was. It looked like that reach might have gotten him over the goal line.
Far side official said he was down. Here's the reach. Did he ever get there? Whew. That is by a kitty's whisker.
The ruling that the runner was short of the goal line is under further video review.
And the replay officials will take another look at it. We'll get to chat with Mike Pereira again. Mike, what'd you see here?
Yeah, that reach is, you know, the camera's not quite on the goal line, but remember, some part of that ball's got to break the plane. He was ruled short. I don't think, based on this shot here, that you could put him over the plane breaking that, and I think it's got to stay. Here's another look, and it, just gets blocked out there. This one, with the shot down the line, looks like it's very close. Don't know if they can overturn it based on the fact it's hidden from his teammate.
That's a tough look. Thanks so much, Mike. And Zach Marshall right there got his thigh in the way of the best shot that we had.
If you had see-through glasses from that angle, it looked like it was in, but you have to prove it, so you can't call it.
Here we go. This is both ends. Again, the one on your right, not perfectly down the line. But does that nose ever cross the plane of the goal line? Just has to touch that paint. You see there's a couple of imperfections on the paint. Any of those count? All right, Mike Pereira with the sink. Look, here's the call first.
After review, the runner did get the ball over the goal line. It is a touchdown.
Yeah, you know, I actually agree with this. I think the shot we had on the right is short. The shot we had on the left is a touchdown. And by piecing this together as we did, you can see on that shot on the left that it did actually break the plane.
Thanks so much, Mike. It's the third rushing touchdown of the day for Bryson Kuzdal. He's at 100 yards and 3 scores. First career 100-yard game for Bryson Kuzdal. The walk-on freshman who had 0 Division I scholarship offers out of high school. He's the bell cow today, and he has carried the torch for Michigan's offense. Zavada puts it right through, makes it 35-13. Big drive for the Michigan Wolverines.
Welcome back. As you can see, Max Bredesen, he is out of the locker room in street clothes. You can unfortunately see that he is on crutches there with a boot on that right leg. But he came out moments ago, and immediately the coaches and teammates, they came over just to greet him. You can see wide receiver coach Ron Bellamy giving him a hug, just showing his support. But I've been keeping an eye on him, guys. He's still making his presence known. We know he's a leader on this team, just trying to pump up his group. You can see right there, guys.
Thanks so much, Brooke. That's a big blow to this offense and to this team. Not just a leader, the leader in that locker room. You see him coaching up his teammates on the sideline. Still unsure where he got hurt. Remember, he had a big catch on 3rd down in the first half and was out for another series, but we have not seen him since. It's the last play we saw him in. See Bredesen right there, and saw him awkwardly coming into the shot. That was the last time we saw him on the field.
You know, I've had a high arch sprain and a turf toe, and they're weird where it doesn't look like much, but those are delicate muscles and tendons in your foot, and that is a big blow because he is a captain and the leader, and he is Michigan football.
Washington, another drop. Smith with the drop out to Chicago with Dave Revson.
Jeff, it's back to a one-score game in Eugene. The Big Ten's leading receiver, Mekhi Lemon, his second touchdown grab of the game, 28-21 Ducks.
Thank you so much, Dave. And again, 5 teams still in the hunt for a trip to Indy. A couple of undefeated teams, Ohio State and Indiana. Indiana on a bye with Purdue coming up next week. Washington on the delay, hands it off to Ray. And picks up 4 yards. These are the 5 teams that are in the mix for a trip to Indy. Ohio State won earlier today. Oregon and USC battling it out. And there's Michigan just kind of laying in the weeds.
Yeah, and just to remind the Michigan fans and viewers at home, this is a young football team. This is a young head coach, Sharon Moore, in year 2. The season has a chance to have a really exciting end to it. And how could you not be excited about the future with the Wolverines?
Don't forget what's coming next week, too. We still have a quarter plus in this one. Washington to pass. And he's got his tight end, Fleming. Ball came out, but he was ruled down before the ball popped out. It's 4th down and inches for Maryland. Here's Fleming. Ball still in hand. No fumble. Washington's going to run, and he'll pick up the 1st down for the Terps. All right, next week, last 5 meetings. If you're an Ohio State fan, you don't want to watch the last 4 years. If you're a Michigan fan, you definitely want to watch the last 4 years. Some top 5 matchups between these 2 programs. Last Ohio State win coming back in 2019. It was a 56-27 triumph. Big game coming back to Ann Arbor. Washington steps up out of trouble, throws down the middle. 1st down Terps at midfield.
Well, I'm sure the Michigan and Ohio State fans watching at home don't need me to say this, but it is the greatest rivalry in all of sports, in my opinion. These are 2 of the more historic programs, and I think about it, legacies and careers are defined by your record in that game.
Washington flush. He's going to run and slide after a pickup of 1.
And Sharon Moore undefeated as a head coach in that game. Pulled off the absolutely impossible upset last season, was filling in for Jim Harbaugh when he was suspended 2 seasons prior and got the win.
Williams hit and dropped. Trey Pierce falling on top of Williams. And think about for Ryan Day. He wins a national championship last year, does lose to Michigan at the end of the season, had to go through quote unquote the loser's bracket, right, of the college football playoffs. But if he loses to Michigan again, I mean, it's going to be crazy. And that's behind Octavian Smith. He had Shalik Knotts wide open across the middle. And it's 4th down and 9.
Yeah, I mean it's different. It's almost like a spiritual experience playing in that game. Doesn't matter how tired or sore you are. There's something beyond you that leads to, again, the best rivalry in all of sports.
Fourth down and 9. Bringing the house. Washington down again. Derek Moore, the Baltimore kid, comes up with another sack.
Fourth down, that's when you send the heat if you're Wink Martindale, and it's a race to the quarterback. Derek Moore, the Baltimore kid, Jeff, he gets home first.
Tomorrow, don't miss women's hoops when the 9th-ranked Terps square off against George Mason. Live coverage begins 2:30 Eastern, 11:30 Pacific on the Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports app. Well, Michigan picking up a big fourth down stop. They get the football again in Terp territory. Handoff. That's Parker, and hit out of bounds, and a flag comes in late. That was away from the play. This could be a frustration penalty. So here Mathis was in the mix there with Jalen Hoffman. Right around the spot of where the flag was thrown.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, defense number 15. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down. Correction, it was number 9 of the defense.
Yeah,
it is his first unsportsmanlike conduct foul. His second results in game ejection.
Oh yeah, swipe right there. The shot across the face mask, and Mathis has been removed from the game. So an ejection following the unsportsmanlike penalty. Underwood keeps, and Husky pushes him out of bounds. Mike Loxley, a teachable moment here with his young freshman who is so talented, but this is part of being a head coach, right? It's not just what's going on in between the white lines, but also what's going on the sideline.
Yeah, and I mean, again, like with these young guys, there's just so much talent. They have infinite talent, whether it's Sidney Stewart or Mathis, and they have a chance to play in the NFL for a very long time. But you have to have some awareness and situational awareness. It's good to be competitive and have fire, but that penalty and ejection is crucial.
That'll take us to the fourth quarter. Michigan opening it up here in College Park. Tonight, see men's hockey live on Big Ten Plus when second-ranked Wolverines continue their series with Ohio State. Download the Big Ten Plus app today. It's always game on. The weekend before the game. And that's what it's all about. If you can't win the championship, which is the goal every year, beat Ohio State. If you're Michigan. Second down for the Wolverines. Trying to get through is Jasper Parker. He's brought down a couple of yards short of a first down. All 8 drives have reached Maryland territory for Michigan. A couple of those drives even started in Maryland territory. 7 have been in the red zone.
Yeah, it's the ability to sustain drives. It's ability to win first and second down. This is just indicative of a good team, an offense that is operating at a high level.
Considered a vacation day for your punter Hudson Hollenbeck. Parker for a first down. Scruggs with the stop, saved the touchdown. For now, it's first and goal for Michigan.
These are valuable reps for Jasper Parker, and that was a really nice run. Patience, setting it up, and then pop. Little cutback right, slicing off the left side of the offensive line. Jasper Parker, another freshman that this coaching staff is really, really high on. He was a summer arrival. I called the spring game and asking about the running backs. They said, oh, this guy. They said, but this kid, Jasper Parker, that's coming in the summer, we think he's going to be special.
Parker gets it. Close to the 5-yard line. Mark him down at the 6. Second down and goal. And officials come in and stop play for a moment. Slow to get up was Thomas from Maryland. And he will head to the sidelines. It's a dinged up Terrapin sideline right now.
Jasper Parker got some Hassan Haskins comps. Hassan Haskins, legend because of what he did in the Ohio State game. And then for Jalen Hoffman, we told you Max Bredesen out with an injury. That fullback tight end role, critical part of this offense.
Underwood hands it off. Parker stays on his feet. Parker, end zone. Did he get the pylon? Touchdown, Wolverines. Second score of the year for Jasper Parker.
Prove it.
Anything out of bounds before he touches? No, he's in. That's a score.
And how about the play call again by Chip Lindsey? Just timely play calls down in the red zone. Maryland knows Michigan loves those little boot action, sprint out rights with Bryce Underwood. So you show that sprint out action, and it ends up being a delayed handoff, almost like a running back draw back across the line. And a great job by Jasper Parker, keeping his balance and stretching the ball over the goal line.
4 rushing touchdowns on the night for Michigan. 3 by Cusdahl, 1 by Parker. Zavada kicks it through 42-13. Bryce Underwood is thrown for 2 touchdowns today. But man, he is ready to dig it in here against Maryland. Football on the Big Ten Network is brought to you by DriveTime.com. Get approved at DriveTime.com. And by White Claw. Grab life by the claw. Drink responsibly. 4 rushing touchdowns today and a show of love there from the old roommates. Bryce Underwood, Max Bredesen out for the rest of the day. See him on his crutches. The captain of this squad, Max Bredesen.
You know, even though he's on crutches, Max Bredesen is quite literally a different breed. So who knows? He's smiling on the sideline. Don't count him out.
We've got the game coming up next weekend against Ohio State. Back in Ann Arbor as Malik Washington goes back to work for the Terps. Now turn this thing on the other side, Jake, of what Maryland is trying to accomplish here in College Park. Needed to win out in order to become bowl eligible. Play next week at Ford Field in Detroit against Michigan State. Mike Loxley and his squad will miss out on bowls for a second consecutive year after going 3 straight seasons. But more than anything, what he was talking about was not a play-in game, but a play-on game. So they can keep practicing and building momentum. Williams wrapped up by T.J. Guy.
Yeah, and I think, you know, looking forward with Maryland, talking to Coach Loxley, I mean, that support from the AD, Jim Smith, meant everything. I mean, look, it's a frustrating year for Coach Loxley. Make no mistake about it, for the players.
Washington steps back across the middle, dumps it off. Williams a yard short of a first down.
But the commitment from Jim Smith, I mean, it's literally just the reality of football these days. You're not winning if there's not resources committed.
Washington gets pushed forward for a first down.
Yeah, and really, I mean, you look at Maryland under Coach Loxley, he's recruited really well, specifically here in this DMV Baltimore area. He's beloved and does a ton of community work. So now getting resources, its ability to build depth. And with the resources, too, it's the ability to keep these freshmen that we've talked so much about today, most importantly, the quarterback, Malik Washington. There it is. I mean, pretty much half of your scrimmage touches are by freshmen, highest in the FBS. So there's the context of frustrating close losses, but the context is there's a lot of freshmen that are figuring it out on the fly. Now with the resource commitment, you can surround these guys with more depth and more talent to turn the corner in some of these close games.
Smith across the formation, and he's brought down about 4 yards short of a first down. Third down coming up. It's all about retention these days too, right? You can get these guys in, but keeping them where they are is another story altogether. And if Mike Locksley can keep a lot of this core together, they could be a real problem in this conference. Washington incomplete, almost intercepted.
He told us too, I mean, Malik Washington is also a local kid, and even for the Michigan fans watching at home, I just challenge you guys, go watch some of Malik Washington's interviews. This guy is special. He could probably run for president one day. He's just that special of a human being. And there's an alignment between Locksley and Malik Washington. And having your quarterback in place is so valuable to bring in and encourage more talent. All three of their top wide receivers are seniors and will be gone next year. It's an easy sell to skill positions to say, hey, come catch passes from Malik Washington.
Four-man rush, almost got home. Washington across his body, incomplete. Intended for Leon Houghton. Another turnover on downs. Michigan will get the football back. We'll be back to College Park in a moment.
Welcome back. Moments ago, Jake and Jeff, they were talking about Michigan gearing up for their biggest game next week. You can see right there, running back Jasper Parker went into the medical tent after that last offensive drive. He was there for a few minutes, and then you can see without his pads, he's being escorted back to the locker room. But guys, we talk about this running back room, man. They are already so depleted, and that's definitely not a good sign for him to go back to the locker room.
Haynes was down. Jordan Marshall suiting up today with a shoulder injury, but we haven't seen him. Jaden Davis is the quarterback, and they hand it off to Micah Kaapana. And Jaden Davis, the backup quarterback he is in, is yet to complete a pass on the season, but Bryce Underwood will get the rest of the evening off.
Yeah, and I mean, shoot, for us and for the Michigan fans at home, let's keep a close eye on Kaapana, and whoever gets these carries in the fourth quarter may end up needing them next week against Ohio State.
Right now you got Bryson Cusdall, and Kaapana is your only healthy running back. She could go to Tomas O'Meara, also available and traveled with the team. Handed off. Kaapana jumps ahead, and they'll mark him about a half a yard short.
You think about that game, Michigan, Ohio State. It's your legacy is tied to that game. Legends are born, and I mean, go back a few years ago when Blake Corum gets injured against Illinois, and you're thinking, what's going to happen? Donovan Edwards steps up and has the best game of his career in the biggest moment.
Hand it off, and it's going to be a first down.
So, I mean, with Bredesen maybe out, Jalen Hoffman, legendary day. Kaapana, could he have a legendary day?
Jake, you know what it's like to play in that game. I mean, take us in what it's like to be in the locker room the week leading up to it, and then on game day.
I'll just go back to when I was born. I was born in Columbus, Ohio. And when you're born, I mean, they wrapped me in scarlet and gray back when I was a baby. They put you in Buckeye gear. Then I came to my senses and went to Michigan. I'm just having fun with the rivalry here. And, I mean, you know, I had a great career. I'll just be honest, I had a great career at Michigan. I love my time there. But it'll be with me for the rest of my life that I never beat Ohio State. I mean, that is it. When you think about your time as a player, immediately someone says, what was your record against Ohio State? And right now, Michigan is on a hot streak. Sharon Moore undefeated against Ohio State. This year is going to be different, though. I feel like Ryan Day outcoached himself, kind of lost the game last year. I don't anticipate the Buckeyes are going to lose the game or give it away to Michigan. This is going to be an absolute battle next week, as it always is.
Well, not a lot of people gave Michigan an opportunity to win last year, especially at the Horseshoe, with as much momentum was going for Ohio State at the time after losing to Oregon. And then, I mean, they were as hot as anybody And then Michigan came in, got a couple of turnovers. There were some missed field goals. I mean, that's the difference, right? Special teams this year has not been a good thing for Michigan, and it saved them against Ohio State last year.
It did. I mean, last year, Zavada was 2 for 2 on field goals and I think he hit one from 50 plus. I mean, he was lights out. And Ohio State's kicker was 1 for 3. There's the difference in the game. But even last year, how about Davis Warren stepping up? A guy like Peyton O'Leary, he's on the field right now. He had a huge catch on 3rd and long to move the chains. Someone unproven and someone that is going to come out of nowhere is going to have a huge game and be a big difference next week in that rivalry game.
I remember us watching that game, and it was before we went on the air, and it meant something to the game that we were doing. Penn State ended up playing in the championship game because Ohio State lost that game. They played against Oregon in the Big Ten championship game, so it meant a lot to us. But the temperature was nothing. The field goal kickers were essentially kicking bowling balls. And you think about this, Jake, as they're on to attempt the field goal right now for Zavada from 46 yards. This is a huge attempt from Zavada, who has already missed today.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Zavada, at least you can fall back on. You hit the one that counted last week, the game winner. But he's got to find a way to get back to his normal self.
And he's going to feather that one in. Nice, a good start. Little baby draw on it. Just like our producer Bart Fox's tee shots. Now still ahead, triple header continues. Illinois battles Wisconsin under the lights at Camp Randall tonight, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific on the Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports app. Saw a great one at Wrigley in game 1 of our triple header. CQ Stadium here in Maryland. Michigan pouring one on, 45-13 at the moment. Michigan has not punted in the game. And everything has been in Maryland territory. Returnable, but a fair catch was signaled and caught. Let's go out to Chicago and Dave Revson.
Jeff, Iowa has scored 10 straight to tie it up against Michigan State. Mark Bronowski to Jacob Gill here at 17 all, and Iowa has the ball in Michigan State territory on the periphery of field goal range in the final minute.
That's huge news right there. Thank you so much, Dave. Iowa on the comeback trail as Christian Martin checks in. So Malik Washington will get the rest of the night off. Another talented freshman, 6'4", 230 out of Highland Springs, Virginia. They will hand it off. Iverson Howard bowls his way forward for a pickup of 9.
Well, that kick by Zavada was huge. I mean, seriously, just to get back on track. It's like a shooter. Sometimes you just need to see it go through.
Martin throws, sets up that wide receiver screen to Farouk. Picks up a first down to the 40-yard line. And much like the quarterback room for Michigan, the quarterback room at Maryland with a couple of freshmen in it. Martin to pass. Martin slings to the sideline. Nice dot. Out to the 30-yard line to Shalik Knotts. Well, had some zip on it from Martin.
It's an unbelievable throw. He just caught the freshman Jaden Sanders, who Michigan has been relying on. They're mixing him in, and he's been playing meaningful snaps at that corner position. Just caught him kind of flat-footed, and a nice throw there out to Knotts.
Gain of 31 on the play. 6 minutes to go in this one. Martin to pass again, hit as he throws, and it's caught. Farouk, touchdown. Farouk with the score, his second touchdown of the season. So here's the question, did he fumble this ball? Regardless, he recovered it. It's going to be a score for Farouk. Ball was out there. Got to prove it's a catch first, too. Ball was definitely out. Farouk jumped on it. And the officials are going to stop play.
On previous plays that are further video review.
Got to prove that it's a catch. Catch 1, to football play. What do you think?
It's close. I mean, it was 1-2. It is it is really close. Let's see.
1 foot there, 2nd foot there. Ball's out. Did he control it enough? No doubt he recovers the fumble. But did he do enough to secure a completed catch?
It looked like he might have double caught it initially too. I don't think he caught it clean. It almost looked like he double caught it, which could factor in.
Seen the little things really cost Maryland today. So secures it there. It is a foot on the ground as he secured it after that second security of that football. See what you're saying, Jake. He regains control right there. That foot's down. Foot down there. Ball pops out.
The third step does not come down. It's really, really close. Here we go.
I mean, a razor's edge right there.
Regardless, those are two of the best throws of the day by Christian Martin.
After review, the play of a
So his touchdown got just enough. And then, of course, he recovered his own fumble, which ends up being the touchdown play anyway. So Maryland gets to score. Christian Martin had a nice drive.
Yeah, he did. I mean, seriously, those two of the best throws by a Maryland quarterback all day. And Loxley not even smiling. He's saying those are the exact errors that Maryland's going to need to clean up to get where they want to go. Don't even put it in the hands of the officials.
O'Hare kicks it through, so 45-20. We'll be back in 30 seconds. Hardest working player, Jake. Sponsored by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Bryson Cusdahl, first 100-yard game of his career and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, it had to be Cusdahl. And this award can also go to the offensive line, the tight ends, the fullbacks. Stepping up with the injury to Jordan Marshall, gets the start. 5 yards of carry, and we'll have to carry over into next week as he's sitting there on the sideline next to Jasper Parker, who's smiling back on the sideline with his teammates. No pads because he left the field with an injury.
So the medical tent came out. Fair catch called for. And Marsh, who has done his own share of the Lions' work too. I mean, 76 receiving yards, and in his first day as a full-time return man, kickoff and punt returns, 71 return yards for Marsh.
Yeah, I mean, special teams, it's going to be a theme again next week, as we've talked about. These are two of the best teams in college football in Ohio State and Michigan. It is going to be a razor-thin margin. And Sharon Moore decided to put Andrew Marsh back there, freshman. Clearly, he's earned the trust of his head coach and his staff.
Kaapana got the carries on the last drive. Now it's Tomas O'Meara. He's got the left side. Nothing but greenery in front of him, and knocked out of bounds across the 40 and back into Terrapin territory go the Wolverines.
And what a luxury. I'd love to play running back for this Michigan offense. Look at the offensive line swallow up the Terps defensive front. Key block on the outside by number 6, Jamar Browder. And the safety, number 12, or the corner, I should say, Jaden Ships, just took a terrible angle, came up inside. O'Meara bounces it, and a huge chunk run down the sideline.
Local kid from Ann Arbor. A couple of Michigan natives doing the lion's share of the rushing today. Cusdahl, and now O'Meara in the ball game. From the 38, O'Meara gets it again. Straight up the middle they go. That offensive line, we talked about it a lot early in the first half too, how well they have come together, Jake.
And so much credit to Grant Newsome. And let's tell the full story here, because Michigan wins the Joe Moore Award. They win the national title. Jim Harbaugh goes back to the NFL. Sharon Moore is hired late. So now there's a vacancy at O-line as the offensive line coach. So they move Grant Newsome from the tight end coach to the O-line coach. He's coaching an O-line that's replacing all 5 starters and really 6 starters. And Grant Newsome has kind of been judged against the standard of a veteran Joe Moore Award offensive line with a bunch of new faces. And that's pretty unfair, but here's the truth. This year, even with all the shuffling around, they're back to a Joe Moore Award semifinalist. And clearly, with 3 redshirt freshmen starting, I mean, that offensive line will be in that Joe Moore Award mix going forward.
And think about the running backs that they had last year running behind a veteran offensive line. And this group with a not proven offensive line, not necessarily proven running backs, they have almost doubled the production from last year.
Yeah, I mean, it's Coach Harbaugh used to say a rising tide raises all ships. I think that's the perfect way to sum up this offense, with Chip Lindsey calling plays, Bryce Underwood, Andrew Marsh, Donovan McCulley, the tight ends being able to stretch defenses. But the foundation for Michigan's success is always going to be in the trenches, and you got to give a ton of credit to Grant Newsome.
Ramirez stays on his feet, and he's across the 25-yard line. Another first down for Michigan. They've rushed for over 200 yards again. It's a group that averages 223 on the ground a game.
Bruiser football. They test your will to play, to line up. Can you match their physicality for 60 minutes? Very few teams can. And to go back to Grant Newsome, what a perfect opportunity for him to observe Sharon Moore. Because how about Sharon Moore comes to Michigan as a tight end coach, and then he moves over to the offensive line coach, and then he grows to coordinator and then head coach. Well, Newsome starts off as tight end coach. Now he's at O-line coach, and Jim Harbaugh used to say, and I played with Newsome, he'll be a head coach one day.
On the ground again with O'Meara. Close to a first down at the 15-yard line. Second down and short.
One of the smartest teammates I've ever played with, and had a really devastating injury. Still to this day, I'll never forget, he walked off the field in one of the more gruesome injuries I've ever. I don't know how he did it. It speaks to his toughness. And pretty much immediately knew exactly what he wanted to do once he ruled out running for president, because he really could run for president. He said, I want to be a coach. And clearly the sky is the limit. Future very bright for Grant Newsome as a coach.
O'Meara gets it left side, head down. And it's going to be first down and goal for the Wolverines. Tail of the tape today, success on third down as well. 12 out of 14 on third down for Michigan. 2-minute timeout. All Wolverines in College Park.
Michigan with the comfortable lead over Maryland. Dave Revson, Marcel Reese, thoughts on the Wolverines heading into next week?
I really like this Wolverine team. There's 2 things that you can do to help yourself, give yourself a chance to win. Run the football and play good defense, and the Wolverines bring it.
They do both of those. That is part of the formula for them. Brett Bielema knows a thing or two about running the football and playing good defense. Knows about winning at Camp Randall, too. 45-5 there all time. Illinois and Wisconsin coming up, guys.
Thanks so much. Triple header on the Big Ten Network. We'll finish up at Camp Randall. 2 minutes to go for the Wolverines to improve to 9-2. And Jake, we came on the air talking about this being a potential developmental year for this program. I'd say they've thrown that out the window.
Yeah. You're thinking year 2, Sharon Moore. You're starting a freshman quarterback.
O'Meara gets the handoff. O'Meara bouncing off of tacklers and maybe lost a yard. Here's Max Bredesen. He clipped Goodwin there with his right knee, and seeing him on his crutches. I'm not sure if that was the injury or not.
Again, that dude, Bredesen, he is cut from a different cloth. So even seeing him on crutches right now in a boot, I would not be shocked if he pulled off something heroic and somehow found a way to play next week. But again, I go back to Blake Corum gets injured. Donovan Edwards runs for 200+ yards and wills his team to victory. You know, it's the fullback position doesn't have the stats that are easy to quantify, but make no mistake about it, that fullback position has a huge impact on this offense. And if it's not Bredesen, it's going to be Jalen Hoffman that's going to be called upon to lead the way in the run game, wide receiver game, and pass protection.
Well, Michigan's allowing this clock to just bleed out. And rather than just taking a knee, they'll hand it off a couple of times.
Injury-wise, Jeremiah Smith did not play today. Carnell Tate did not play today, the two star wide receivers for the Buckeyes.
And Julian Sand was out in the third quarter. So Amir gets it out to the 4-yard line. You just need to put it in play one more time, and that's it. In the updated Big Ten standings that we've been showing you all night long, with Oregon and USC still battling out in Eugene. Ohio State and Indiana both undefeated. Indiana has Purdue next week. Ohio State will be in Ann Arbor against this Michigan team with just one loss in conference play.
What more could you ask for? Oh, it's going to be such a fun game next week, and for Bryce Underwood, as soon as he commits
the
to...
The game was stopped for a player injury. When this happens with under 2 minutes to go in the half, it calls for a 10-second runoff. Game clock operator, please set the game clock to 31 seconds. It will start up at ready for play signal.
So we had an injury under 2 minutes, so 10-second runoff. Gets that clock down to 31 seconds, and Michigan doesn't have to do anything. That's going to end the ball game. So Michigan with a 45-20 victory after Malik Washington took Maryland down for a score on the opening drive. It was all Michigan after that. Scored 21 unanswered points at one point. And Bryce Underwood, Andrew Marsh, and Bryson Cusdahl, those three freshmen carried the torch for the Wolverines.
And a good job in their final performance before next week. The game. Bryce Underwood commits to Michigan, and I think when his legacy is over and he goes on to play in the NFL and play for a decade plus, again, we'll be wondering, what did he do against Ohio State? All the talent in the world. And Michigan's going to be relying on a ton of freshmen to make plays in the game.
We're all on pins and needles waiting for next week. Brooke Fletcher is in position with Sharon Moore.
Coach, because he is the leader of this team, and I know how much he means to you and your players, what more can you tell us about Max Bredesen?
Yeah, we'll get confirmation when we get back home and get the x-rays, but well, you know, we'll see what it is. Doesn't look great, but we're just praying for him.
How can a win like this set you up for a big, challenging game next week versus Ohio State?
I mean, it's the game, right? You know, I asked the players to play the most complete game of football. I felt like we came closest to that. Obviously, always things to clean up, never perfect, but proud of this guy right here, proud of this team and the way they responded and what they did, and it's time to go prepare for the game.
Thanks, Coach. Bryce, you were calm, cool, and collected here today. What was the difference for you under center?
Just having a lot of trust in my guys. Been building that trust for the past few, I could say months, but at the beginning of this year for sure. But I'm just glad to come out here and have fun. So.
It was next man up mentality in this running back room. How would you describe the impact that Bryson Cusdahl has made in this group the last few weeks?
Definitely. Bryson has been working for it just like everybody else has since the beginning of the season, and probably years before since he started playing football. So just the energy he brings on the field, it's just exciting.
I saw you share a moment with Max Bredesen just moments ago. Just what was your message to him?
I didn't realize he was hurt until was that third quarter? And I just went up to him, made sure he was good. He's fine.
Thanks, Bryce.
Of course, thank you.
Thanks so much. Michigan runs away against Maryland today. Before we say goodnight, I want to say a huge thank you to our outstanding crew on this squad for the Big Ten Network. We're going to do a broadcast out of Rutgers next week. Thank you so much for all of your hard work all season long on the road. For Jake Butt, Brooke Fletcher, and that entire crew, I'm Jeff Levering saying so long from College Park. Big Ten Live Game Break is coming up in just a moment. Good night from Maryland.